Welcome to this new Addon Spotlight. In this Addon Spotlight we're gonna look at the Working Title G1000 NXi, which has been updated to version 0.9.1. You can install the update easily by going to the Content Manager in Flight Simulator. Let me show you how to do that. Go to your profile, there you will find the Content Manager, and inside the Content Manager you will see update available 1 or more if there are updates available. Simply select it. I will show it easily. In this case I'm searching for working title, right? You can see it's up to date. If it's not up to date, simply select it and then update it. It's a very small update, but it fixes a lot of issues. So let's go inside one of the aircrafts which is using the G1000 NXi. Because there were some fixes, also specifically for the Pilatus aircraft, which is introduced as part of Sim Update number 5, right? So that's good to know. Let's select, let's say, departure. Let's fly from this one. So now you probably want to know, okay, what's being fixed while waiting for the flight to load? Well, there's a fix for the fixed map flicker freeze in incorrect range caused by opening the information pages. There's a fixed inability to use the outer FMS knob in the waypoint. Input ICAO field on the information pages, and there are some fixes for active VTF not switching CDI sources in some cases. In addition to that, there's a fix: the NXi does not display the selected altitude on the altitude meter in the PC6. I think that's what the issue which I had lately. And the LNAV will now enter the suspend mode when it would otherwise immediately sequence past the lag that was just manually activated. Besides that, there's a fix for the approach while you activate the approach. And there's a fix for the issue where the active lag dialog would display the incorrect lag information for FAF lags in non-VTF approaches. Besides that, there's another fix for issues where the GPS value was not being written correctly in unit types. For example, the altitude and the knots, and the nearest VOR page no longer mislabeled as the nearest NDB. In addition to that, there's a fixed minor regression in drawing the baseline of horizontal ice gouges. Heads up, VNAV now activates upon reaching the last constraint. So that's something new which you need to be aware of. GPS lock and VOR modes now arm. Be aware that you will need to be on the intercept course and within the capture distance of the flight path before choosing those modes. That's what we already see with other aircrafts also, right? If you're too far away from the flight plan, then activating the mode, the GPS mode, won't work, and then you will need to use the that's in most cases it's referred to as the nav mode of the autopilot. In that case, you need to use the heading mode to first fly closer to the flight path and then activate the nav mode again. Then there's another fix for the changing the CDI source drops the autopilot into roll mode, right? So you can change the CDI mode. I will show that while we're talking. And then of course it has reset all my settings again. Always nice. You've got the CDI button here, and the CDI can be used to change the source mode. So in this case it's localizer 1, localizer 2, and then GPS. If you would do that, then it would lose the autopilot, or it would place the autopilot in roll mode, and it will be shown here normally, right? So hold modes, when existing hold mode, do not delete the hold, as it could cause a flight plan issue. So be aware of that. If you create a manual hold, then make sure that you're not, I would say, using that functionality to delete it until you left the hold. And then there's the NXi's traffic advisory system. The TAS will now start in standby mode by default, while in this mode will not issue an advisory, nor will traffic be displayed on the maps. So the system will automatically switch from standby to operating mode after takeoff. Right, so that's good. Before getting all these kind of warnings, I'm gonna switch that off. It's really irritating that sometimes Flight Simulator doesn't keep all the settings, like all the hard modes, which I already set up a few times, and it's reverting to those settings. And I saw that multiple people are reporting that issue. Unfortunately, there's no fix for it yet. Hopefully it will be fixed somewhere in the future. Then the fuel quantity information on the MFD simulates an authentic totalizer. This means that it doesn't actually track the fuel in your tank, so keep that in mind. And the displayed meter information on the MFD flight plan page reflects the wheel weather, so not always the in-game weather. Are there also known issues? Yes, there are. Some flight plans are not loading correctly. World map import from Navigraph and SimBrief do not include airways, so airways will not be added to the G1000 NXi flight plan as we speak. Enough talked, let's start flying and let's see how it works now, because there were some issues as we just discussed. So this is the PC6, right? So maybe you have seen the video which we created earlier this week about this aircraft. It's a nice aircraft, and also it has the G1000 NXi as the flight system, which is, I would say, really cool. So what we can do is we can check if there's a flight plan, which isn't the case, as you can see. The menu option, we can define the map settings and declutter. Also nice. But the nice thing about this is that it also contains the approach menu, right? So you can select the approach, select the arrival, and select the departure mode, which was already in, if I'm correct. So that's cool, right? So let's see if we can start flying. Shouldn't be an issue normally. So let's increase the throttle. And let's remove the parking brakes. And let's see if the altitude mode is fixed. It looks like. You can see the weather is not too nice here. It's a little bit cloudy. So let's try to set up a flight plan, and you can do that using the options here, right? So you can either use the FPL button, or you can select the direct to. In the case of the direct to, you can define one of the flights. Of course, you need to find out where you want to fly to. There's an easy way which you can do, that's by using the VFR map. You can also use the zoom in and zoom out from the options here, right? I can show it to you. Which also allows you to zoom in and zoom out. So be aware of that. So we're going to change it to Wilda, right? Because it was one of the waypoints which we did solve. So we're going to use the scroll wheel on the mouse to set it. And if you're lucky, then it will find it. And you can see that the nice thing is that it zooms in and out, right? So it's trying to find the closest one. So in this case, Wilda is correct. Then we can say activate. And let's see if the autopilot now, as I say, is our friend. But first, let's make sure we're not crashing. So I'm gonna hide the VFR map. And we're still flying. That's cool. So we did set this functionality. Now the fun thing is I'm saying, hey, we're gonna set the autopilot, but I'm really wondering if this aircraft even has an autopilot. I don't think so, right? Or am I crazy? Well, it has an autopilot. I was already a little bit afraid that it didn't have the autopilot. So you can switch the autopilot on, right? by using this button. It has the FD and the autopilot option. You can see it now goes to roll mode, and that's because also we didn't specify an altitude, so be aware that you're setting the altitude, and that can be done using this option. So we're gonna change the altitude, and you can use the large button or the button close to the dashboard to set 1,000 numbers, and then use the small one to change the small numbers, and you directly see that it's now, I would say, going into that mode. Now if we would activate the heading select mode, you sometimes will see that it will not do its work. In this case we're probably lucky because it intercepted the GPS signal already, but you can see it's in the suspend mode, right? That's what we talked about in the heads up. So what it means is that if you come on, it was in the heads up, I'm pretty sure. So if you're changing something in the flight plan, it could result in that it's not picking up the signal, and that's also what it's doing now. So what we need to do is we need to change the course to, or I would say, flight plan, because now it has been switched to heading mode, as you can see. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna fly this direction, and then as soon as we select the nav mode, it will pick up the signal. So you can also see that the nav mode is now set to arm, and we come close to this, I would say, nice pink bar, it will go into the direction. So if you're figuring, or if you are using an aircraft, it's not only applicable to this one but also to the other ones, and you activate nav mode and you think, hey, the nav mode doesn't work really good, well, then probably you're too far from the line and it will not activate it. That's why it's also now shown as suspended mode. I think that's something new which I didn't see in the past, so that's cool. So can you deactivate the suspend mode? Yes, because you can see it's still here, right? So what you can do is the suspend mode, one of the reasons it's now is being activated because you might already arrive at your last waypoint. That's one of the reasons. It could also be caused by a manual termination of the lag. And the last one, as mentioned already, it is when reaching the final lag of the plan, right? And that's, I would say, expected behavior. So what you can do to reset this is hit the suspend mode, and then you will see it changes back to OBS, but you can't activate the suspend mode anymore. The suspend mode will be activated automatically if you're meeting one of those other, I would say, prerequisites. So let's make sure that we're flying closer to that line. So it looks like they fixed a lot of things, right, in the version 0.9.1, which has been released yesterday. So let's see if it really works. On the other end, let's also look at the nearest button. So the nearest has now several options, right? It shows nearest here, and you can use the scroll button to scroll like this, which is cool. But you can also, if I'm correct, you can also change to other pages. At least I found out that you could do it somewhere. Come on. Why can't I see it anymore? Because this is the nearest airports. I thought I saw somewhere. Probably I'm crazy then, and it was with another aircraft. I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere that you can also switch to the other nearest options. But not for now. So in the meantime, while talking, you can see that now nav mode has taken, I would say, taken control. So the heading mode is being deselected, and now it will use the nav mode. as just discussed. So in the meantime, let's figure out, okay, why we can't use the other one. So I'm gonna reduce the and also reduce the speed a bit. Trying to figure out how I did it last time. I'm pretty sure that you could change it somewhere. It looks like that this has changed. If you know how to change it, then let me know, because I'm really puzzled about this. I was hoping to show you this also, but it looks like I can't show it to you right away. You can. No. Really weird. I don't understand it. So we need to fly 8 miles to Wilda, and then you will go. We'll see it will go in suspend mode again, right? Because that's the last waypoint. Other than that, right, if I'm looking at the rest of the fixes, the map flickering, freeze, incorrect range, I don't see that issue happening anymore. Also the inability to use the outer knob FMS button in a waypoint, input ICAO field, that also worked, because we could add the waypoint at least. We can try to add the add another thing. So let us zoom out or zoom in again. No, let's zoom out. For example, if you want to go to Kilo Charlie Uniform Tango, let's hit the flight plan. Oh, not the flight plan, let's hit the direct option. And then change it and see if that works. So, okay, let's see, U, and then the, oh, I said U. And then the letter T. Hit enter and then say activate. This looks like to be a bug, because it, you see what it does? It signs it from here. It draws a really weird line. This doesn't look too good. Eventually, it's flying to it, but it doesn't make sense. It looks like it's almost going back to the, I would say, to the original airport, right, to the one we departed from. It looks like. It's kind of weird. No, because we departed from this one. Interesting. But keep in mind that this, let's say, add-on is still in beta, right? It's not an official version yet. So there might be some issues which are not working correctly. If you hit one of those issues, then please consider to, I would say, report them to the developers of the tool. So you can also see that it's gone back in suspend mode, so we need to hit suspend again. And then it will start doing its work, so it will now fly to the line, hopefully, and that will capture the signal again. Again, if it doesn't do it, you know what the trick was. Activate heading mode, fly close to the line, and then after that activate nav mode. Nav mode will go into some kind of standby mode, and once you're close enough to that line, it will pick up the signal, and then we'll start using, let's say, the correct signal, which means GPS. So with this, we can continue to fly, but that's all I had for this video. So here ends this one. I hope you liked it. In this video we looked at the working title Garmin G1000 NXi version 091, which has been released yesterday. Some nice fixes in it, also some changes, so be aware if you're gonna use it, that you're aware of those changes and know how to deal with those changes. Hope you liked this video. If you liked it, then consider to use the like button. If you got questions or comments, then feel free to post them in the comment box below. And if you want to stay up to date about new videos I'm posting, then make sure that you're subscribing to my channel. Thanks for watching and see you next time.